What's going on, everybody? I am Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. Recent $50,000 League of Legends DFS winner about 10 days ago, although it seems like an eternity given the quarantine way of life right now. But yeah, 50K winner. We've been researching League of Legends and backtesting for the last couple of years, just starting to put content into place over the past 3 or 4 weeks. And we're here today with this video to give you some DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's 3-game DraftKings and FanDuel slate for the LPL. So yeah, April 12th, April 13th, depending on where you are in the world, on when the slate's going to start. We're here to give you some tips. About a 10-minute video to give you an early first look strategy of what to do. The full strategy, research, advice is going to be in our daily plug, occupyfantasy.com. That link is in the description below. You can also join us on Twitch for a live stream where we answer all of your questions at 10 p.m. Eastern. All of this is free, by the way. Twitch.tv/occupyfantasy, 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, every single night that there's a League of Legends slate. So go check us out there after you watch this video. If you want to get access to all of our videos, go ahead and click subscribe below. That way you never miss when a video is released. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. We'd appreciate it. And any questions you have, comments about tonight's slate, DFS in general, go ahead and comment below, and we'll get back to you when we can. All right, so tonight, like we said, 3-game slate. Let's pull up Pinnacle's odds here, and we go to the top 3 matchups: OMG and ES, RNG, LNG, and then TES and V5. What you'll notice here, first of all, ES minus 200 favorite roughly. No surprise there. But what you'll also notice here on Pinnacle, as of 3:30 Eastern, which is when I'm recording this video, the 2 other games are off the board: RNG and TES. So before they were off the board, we did capture the opening odds. RNG opened as a minus 465 favorite, pretty big. TES, massive favorite, minus 2,300 on the money line versus V5, who everyone likes to beat up on. However, these odds are off the board, and I think it probably has something to do with the starting lineups today. So if we look at the starting lineups for today, in particular, TES has 2 new guys starting that has not played for them all year. The first is Jackie Love, who is a world champion ADC 2 years ago. They won the Worlds, and he was a free agent after last year, quarantined a bit, was finally able to sign with the team, has been on TES for the last 3 or 4 games, and he's finally getting the start tonight. And then a new support to go with him. Yuyanjia is starting his first start. So 2 new guys for TES. Perhaps that's the reason why TES odds are off the board. The same with LNG and RNG. Chenlun17 making his first start at top. He was actually just added to the DraftKings player pool early this afternoon. So be curious to see where those odds move once they are reopened and people are able to bet on them. So, all right, what we like to do here, we like to pull up DraftKings, FanDuel similarly, but this is mostly a DraftKings video. Our daily plug will touch on some FanDuel strategies, so be sure to check that out later. What I like to do from a first high level, take a look at everything. Look at how the 2 favorites, the 2 most popular teams, more than likely, how they fit together in the lineup. It tells us what people are going to do, try to do, what they won't be able to do in all contest types. And fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your viewpoint, it's actually really easy to fit in both TES and RNG. So 99% favorite TES, 85% favorite RNG. Can actually fit both of them into your lineups really easily. And just a very quick way just to show you, if we went with, we like to 4-3 stack every lineup because of the correlation involved. If you try to 4-3 stack in a low risk lineup tonight, that is your 50-50s, your double ups, your head-to-heads, where half the field cashes, you can very easily do it. If we just try to put a top at captain, not necessarily the optimal, but a lot of times it helps us fit in the most expensive teams. And then we put in the rest of these guys here, just very quickly looking. We put in Jackie Love, who's starting tonight. Yuyanjia, 6,400 left for a team. We can easily do this. You can even upgrade from your top captain. You can easily fit these guys into your lineup. So 4-3 lineups with both RNG and TES are going to be massively popular. Massively popular. We saw a pretty similar slate about 4 or 5 days ago. There was the last 3-game LPL slate. FPX was about half the favorite that TES was. They were around minus 1,100, and they were just massively owned. I'm pulling it up here. Yeah, so in fact, on the last 3-game slate, FPX, similar position as TES tonight, they had the top 5 ownerships. Their mid was 51%, ADC was 48%, support 43%, jungler 40%, top 35%, literally the top 5 guys. And due to TES's affordability, you can be pretty sure that all of their guys are going to be 35% plus, up to 50-60% tonight in most contest types, especially high risk. So makes for some interesting choices for what we need to do. And again, we're going to dive deep in the daily plug later, occupyfantasy.com, which is always free for the League of Legends, and talk about how we can try to leverage this. Here's some other stats that you might find interesting from that 3-game slate 5 days ago. So we've been, like I said, we've been doing this type of back testing for a while now. It's always nice to look at a recent slate to see what people have done, especially a recent similar slate as far as odds and salaries are concerned. And as we look, if you look at who people used as a captain, because that can be one way to try to get yourself different. If you're playing a high-risk contest, you're playing a 100-player league, you're playing those 3 max single-entry GPPs, you're maxing, you're 20 maxing, you're 150 maxing. Your goal should be to get that top prize by yourself. Now, on a 3-game slate where tons of lineups are duplicated, it's going to be very difficult to do. But you can do it if you're smart with how you build your lineups. So if we look at this last 3-game slate 4 or 5 days ago, very similar. If we look at who people chose as their captains, ADC, obviously, a highest scoring position. 34% of lineups had an ADC captain. 25% had a mid as their captain. And then jungler checked in third, 16%, not too far off from tops and supports. All right, Brian, what about lineup construction, stack types? 51% of lineups used a 4-3 stack. 4 guys from one team, 3 from a different game, another team. The next most popular stack type, which is a pretty good leverage spot in this situation, is a 4-2-1. 4 guys from one team, 2 from a second team, 1 from a third team. None of these guys playing each other. 29% of lineups use that. So that right there combines for 80% of lineups. The others were 3-3-1 varieties, 3-2-2. Some people did 1-1-1-1-1-1-2. We would not advise that you do that. About 18% of teams used an opponent in their lineup, so there's some sort of game stack, not necessarily optimal on a 3-game slate. And then most importantly, I think if you're using 4-2-1s and you're trying to get different, you go with the popular 4-3, you change one player, you think you might be different. What about those 4-2-1s? Who were the most popular positions that people used as their 1? It was actually team, unsurprisingly. People do 4 from one team, 4 position players from one team, 2 from another, and then their team position on DraftKings or FanDuel was a different team entirely. Yeah, 36% of those one-offs were teams. The next most popular was pretty spread out. I mean, tops, mids, ADCs, supports, all 10 to 15%. Jungler was actually the least popular at 9%. So maybe some... We always like using tops from correlations. They are number 3 here. It's at 14%. But just looking at this data, junglers, only 9% of one-offs were junglers. That could be a unique approach to tonight's slate. Again, we have all types of information in our daily plug. Let me show you here really quickly. So this is from last night, obviously, April 11th. We have not updated it for today, the April 12th or April 13th slate, whatever you want to call it. We normally do that by 9 p.m. Eastern, right before the Twitch stream at 10. And you'll see here, we have general League of Legends tips. We put in the starting lineups. And then most importantly, we talk about all these lineup construction strategies on what you should do for that particular slate. Look, the best high-risk approach tonight is as follows. That's what we do for the daily plug. So we encourage you to check this out. Again, the link is in the description below. It's the top pinned comment below too. You can't miss it because we will go into further detail with these numbers I just spit out at you, as well as some strategy based on the line movements and what we think people are going to do in tonight's contest. So that'll do it for this video. We appreciate you listening. Again, I'm Brian Jesser at Brian Jesser FF, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. And again, occupyfantasy.com, twitch.tv/occupyfantasy. That's the content you want to get tonight for free. Again, $50,000 winner. We've done the research. Just time for you to make the lineups. So appreciate you listening. Once again, subscribe below if you want to get all of our latest videos and give us a thumbs up. We'd super appreciate it. So, Brian, Occupy Fantasy, appreciate you, and good luck tonight in your League of Legends DFS contest.